Based on real FBI case files and SEC court records, characters are composites, not real individuals, for educational purposes only, not financial advice. Before we begin, this story is based on real FBI case files, SEC court records, and testimony from Madoff's actual employees. The character you're about to follow is a composite, built from real accounts of people who worked inside that building and had no idea what was happening around them. This is educational. This is not financial advice. Now let's go inside. One thing before we start. The man at the center of this story ran the largest financial fraud in human history for nearly 4 decades. He was investigated 8 separate times. 8, and nobody caught him. What I want you to think about as this unfolds is not how he did it, but how everyone around him managed not to see it. Let's go inside. The carpet in this building is thick. You notice it every morning, not because it is luxurious, because it is quiet. You walk off the elevator on the 17th floor of the Lipstick Building on 3rd Avenue in Manhattan, and the entire floor swallows the sound of your footsteps. You are 29 years old. You have been working here for 14 months. The firm is called Bernard L. Madoff Investment Securities. The man whose name is on the door was once the chairman of the NASDAQ Stock Exchange. His clients include Steven Spielberg, Kevin Bacon, and the Foundation of Holocaust survivor Elie Wiesel. The minimum to open an account is $1 million. People beg to invest here. They are not always accepted. You got this job through a referral, a friend of a friend. You're good with numbers. You went to Fordham. You passed your Series 7 on the first attempt. You drink your coffee black, and you get to your desk 15 minutes before anyone else. This is the best job you have ever had. This is the job you will spend the rest of your life trying to explain. Chapter 1. The 17th floor. The firm has 3 floors in the Lipstick Building. The 18th and 19th floors are the legitimate market-making business. You work on the 17th, the investment advisory side, the side that manages money for 4,800 clients. Your floor is different from the others. The people upstairs work in a loud, open trading environment, charts on every screen, phones ringing, the organized chaos of a real brokerage. Your floor is quiet, deliberately quiet. The lights are lower, there are fewer windows. There is a locked door between your section and the elevator that requires a key card. Not everyone has one. You run account statements, that is your job. Clients send in money. You record the deposits. At the end of each month, you generate statements showing what their investment has earned. The returns are always good, not spectacular, never suspicious. Around 10 to 12% annually, regardless of what the market is doing. When the S&P drops 15% in a quarter, Madoff's clients still get their steady 10%. How does he do it? Nobody asks out loud. The strategy is called split strike conversion. You have read about it. You do not fully understand it. Your supervisor says that is fine. Your job is not to understand the strategy. Your job is to process the statements. You process the statements. You do not ask questions. This is the culture of the 17th floor. You learn this in the first week. There are things you do not ask about. There are doors you do not open. There are numbers you record and do not examine. You are very good at your job. Real fact, Madoff's 17th floor investment advisory unit was completely separate from his legitimate 18th/19th floor operations. Only a handful of employees worked there. Most had no idea the investment business was fraudulent. Access required special keycards. Chapter 2. The numbers. 6 months in, you notice something. Not a crime, not a fraud, just a number that does not make sense to you. A client account shows a purchase of IBM stock on a specific date in April. 100,000 shares at $32. You run the cross-reference as part of your routine verification. Price of IBM on that date was $34, not $32. The statement shows a price that did not exist on the day of the trade. You flag it internally. You write it down. You bring it to your direct supervisor, a woman named Annette. She looks at the notation. She looks at you. She takes the paper. She says she will handle it. 3 days later, the statement has been corrected. The number is right now. IBM at $34. Annette never mentions it again. You file it away in the back of your brain. You tell yourself there was a data entry error. You tell yourself these things happen. You tell yourself Annette fixed it, and that is the end of it. You are right, and you are catastrophically wrong. Because what you do not know, what you cannot know from your position on the 17th floor, is that Annette and the small team around her are not correcting errors. They are fabricating records. Every month, they look at past editions of the Wall Street Journal. They find the best performing stocks from the previous month. They assign those stocks to client accounts retroactively. They create the illusion of trades that never happened. The number you flagged was a mistake in the fabrication, not in the investment. There was no investment. There was never an investment. Annette Bongiorno. Madoff's account manager for 40 years was convicted of fraud. She literally read old Wall Street journals and backdated fake profitable trades into client statements. Sentenced to 6 years in prison. Chapter 3. The clients. You start to understand who the clients are. not from documents, from conversations at the coffee machine, from things people mention in passing. The client list reads like a roll call of American wealth and philanthropy, banks, universities, charities, hedge funds from New York to Geneva that pool investor money and hand it to Madoff. Individual investors who have put their entire retirement savings here. Families who have been clients for 30 years. People who fought to get in. People who consider themselves lucky. One afternoon, you overhear a conversation between two senior people. Someone mentions a feeder fund, a fund of funds in Europe that sends Madoff hundreds of millions of dollars from investors who do not even know their money is here. The money circles the globe. It moves from Switzerland to New York to Madoff's account at Chase Manhattan. It never gets invested. It just sits, waiting to be paid back to the next person who wants a withdrawal. You do not know this. You hear the word feeder fund. You do not know what it feeds. One of the clients is a foundation established by Nobel Prize winner Elie Wiesel, a Holocaust survivor who spent his life speaking about the dangers of trusting people with absolute power. He loses $15 million. His foundation loses more. He says afterward that Madoff's theft was not just financial. It was a violation of something deeper, a betrayal of the instinct that compels human beings to trust each other. You process his statement every month. You have no idea. Elie Wiesel's foundation lost $15.2 million. The Fairfield Greenwich Group, a feeder fund, channeled $7.2 billion to Madoff. More than $150 billion in total passed through Madoff's Chase account from 1986 to 2008. If this kind of story interests you, going inside worlds that most people only see from the outside, there's more of this on the channel. Different worlds, same format. The button's right there if you want it. Let's keep going. Chapter 4. The Warning. His name is Harry Markopolos. You will never meet him. He is a financial analyst in Boston. In 1999, his boss asks him to replicate Madoff's investment strategy. He spends 4 hours running the numbers. He concludes in 4 hours that what Madoff is claiming to do is mathematically impossible. The returns are too consistent. The strategy does not produce those numbers. No strategy does. He writes a report. He sends it to the Securities and Exchange Commission. The SEC investigates. They find nothing wrong. They move on. Markopolos tries again. In 2001, again in 2005, he writes a 21-page document titled "The World's Largest Hedge Fund is a Fraud." He gives it to the SEC. He tells them exactly what to look for. He tells them which records to request. He tells them the scheme will eventually collapse and the losses will be catastrophic. The SEC conducts another examination. They interview Madoff himself. He is calm, charming, and precise. He explains the strategy. The investigators do not ask for trading records from the depository trust company, which would have proven in minutes that no trades were occurring. They accept his explanation. They leave. Madoff tells an interviewer years later that he could not believe they never asked for those records. He said, "It would have been easy for them to see. You are on the 17th floor. You are generating statements. You are drinking your black coffee 15 minutes before anyone else. The warning is sitting in an SEC filing cabinet. Nobody's looking at it." Markopolos submitted evidence to the SEC 5 separate times between 1999 to 2008. The SEC investigated Madoff 8 times over 16 years and found nothing. Madoff told investigators they never checked the one database that would have ended it immediately. Congressional testimony. 2009. Here's what I genuinely cannot stop thinking about. Harry Markopolos told the SEC exactly what was happening 5 times, with mathematical proof, and they did nothing. What does that tell you about institutions we trust to protect us? I want real answers in the comments, not what you're supposed to say. What do you actually think? Chapter 5. December 2008. The financial crisis hits in September. Lehman Brothers collapses, the market falls. Panic spreads across every trading floor in every city in the world. Clients everywhere begin pulling money out of their investments. Madoff's clients are no different. They want their money, all of them, at once. The requests total $7 billion. Madoff has $300 million left. For the first time in decades, there is not enough new money coming in to pay the people going out. The machine has stopped. The lie has run out of time. On December 10th, 2008, Madoff calls his sons Mark and Andrew into his apartment. He tells them the firm's investment advisory business is a fraud. He says it is one big lie. He says he has absolutely nothing left. His sons are stunned. They are not part of the scheme. They have worked at the firm for years and never known. That night, they call their attorney. The next morning, federal agents arrest their father at his home. He does not resist. He says he expected this. He says he always knew it would end. You find out the same way everyone else does. You come to work on December 11th, and there are FBI agents in the lobby. They are carrying boxes. The doors to the 17th floor are locked. A colleague grabs your arm and tells you something is wrong. You ask what. He cannot find the words. Nobody on your floor can find the words. For a long time after, nobody can. Madoff had only $300 million left when clients demanded $7 billion simultaneously. He confessed to his sons December 10th, 2008. Arrested December 11th. Sentenced June 29th, 2009 to 150 years, the maximum allowed. He died in federal prison April 14th, 2021. Chapter 6. The Reckoning. The investigation takes years. FBI agents move into the offices. They examine every record, every statement, every trade confirmation, every number you processed. They find that none of the trades ever happened, not one. For decades, the 17th floor generated statements describing purchases and sales of stocks and options that were never executed. The money sat in a bank account. It was paid out to whoever asked for it. Everyone else got paper. Beautiful, convincing, quarterly paper showing gains that did not exist. 4,700 families lose money. Pension funds, charities, retirees, schools, people who trusted this firm with everything they had saved over a lifetime. Some of them lose homes. Some of them lose businesses. Some of them cannot financially recover. A court-appointed trustee named Irving Picard spends the next decade trying to recover the money. He claws back billions. Most victims receive something. Most do not receive everything. The math of what was stolen is still not fully resolved 15 years later. You cooperate with the investigation. You were not part of the fraud. The investigators confirm this. You knew something felt wrong once. You flagged a number. Annette fixed it. You let it go. You are told you will not face charges. This does not feel like relief. You think about the carpet, how thick it was, how quiet, how you walked across it every morning for 14 months and never heard what was happening underneath your feet. The most dangerous place to stand is in a room where everyone else has already decided not to ask the question you're thinking about. The carpet was so thick, you never heard a thing. The people who lost money in this scheme weren't naive. They were doctors, teachers, retirees, Nobel Prize winners. If you want to understand how someone at the very top of the financial world, or on Wall Street itself, can end up doing exactly what Madoff's accountants did, the Wall Street Insider Trader video is already there. Same world, different floor, same question at the end.